Hello and welcome back to the Art of Reduction here at Trailway Studios. My name is Reeve Andrews and I'm going to be your barber today. Today we have a great guest. His name is Eli and he has really nice, beautiful, kind of long, flowy hair, and he wants a really nice, tight taper, kind of low in the cut and low in the back. So today we're going to focus on just how we conquer and attack a nice taper fade, as well as leaving a lot of scissor work and length on top. So Eli, if you can come on over here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll take a seat right here. So like I said, we have a lot of length on top with Eli today. He has a really cool color, has a good sense of style. He's really trying to maintain the overall length up top, but he wants a nice kind of clean, sharper look on his taper through the sideburns and the back. And he has pretty nice thick hair on the neck, so we'll kind of go and conquer that and take care of the energy in the back as well. So let's go ahead and start draping him up. I just really want to focus, like I said, today on just tapering, a lot of scissor work, but most importantly, just how to interact with a client and how to make a client feel really special in the chair. So just a nice firm handshake when they walk in, have a nice consultation with them, look them in the eye, and most importantly, just like carry yourself well. Carry yourself with a little bit of dignity, a little bit of respect for yourself, and it really goes a long way by making your client feel comfortable. So most importantly, when you're draping up your client, I like to use a neck strip. Sometimes I forget them at the shop when I come to the studio here, so I know sometimes not all my videos have these, but most importantly, let's just make sure we're not choking our clients. This is just a rule of thumb where, if you could fit kind of 2 fingers in the back of the cape right here, you're not choking them to death. So I always like to make sure I have a little bit of wiggle room. If more importantly, some people don't like things around their neck, so you could always just ask, Eli, does that feel okay? Tight? Cool. And the more questions we ask our guys, and the more we care, the more we're invested in our client, the more comfortable he's going to be throughout the service. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start prepping my haircut. So I'm going to use, again, the Replenish by Aveda. It's just a nice leave-in conditioner, adds a little bit of slickness, a little bit of glide, we may call it, for my, my comb and my when I'm sectioning off this longer hair, to kind of, more importantly, just kind of gets the hair ready for a lot of scissor work. Because he has really nice long hair. And like I said from the beginning of the video, he really wants to keep a lot of it. So you guys know me, I kind of like, if we're kind of doing the situation where we're keeping a lot of length on top, taking it tight on the sides, I'm going to kind of focus my energy on top at first. So just kind of looking at him, his hair's really thick through the sides right here. So really my main objective, even when I'm taking some of this length off, I really want to make this a little bit more cleaner, kind of as it comes through to the back of his head. And the hair on the top seems nice and manageable. So I really don't need to take too much length off this kind of mohawk section, off these bang sections. It's this through here that really looks long and kind of heavy for my client. So we're going to keep a lot of length on top and really kind of take off some of the sides right here. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and, like I do most of my videos here, I'm just going to kind of create a nice horseshoe section. And most importantly, I'm keeping all the good hair. So if you notice, I have all this kind of longer, heavier hair that I was just speaking of. That's the hair I want to conquer first. My brain instantly goes to, where's the most negative aspect of this cut? Where is the biggest problem? Because wherever the biggest problem is in the haircut, I assume I'm gonna have to spend most of my time there. So as long as most of my time is taking care of the biggest issues of this haircut, I know I'll have enough time to really conquer it. And when I get to the easier aspects of his haircut, such as the top and stuff like that, I don't need to spend as much time up there. So I will be able to kind of make up for all the energy I put at the beginning of the cut. I'll be able to make up for it later on in the cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and just keep positioning and kind of sectioning off this top section, sectioning off his bangs. And I'm going to kind of meet them in the middle back here real quick. Again, I can't stress enough how important nice, clean guidelines are. It really just kind of helps you kind of just have a nice blueprint of the haircut and for where we need to go, especially when clients come in with a lot of hair, especially with barbers who aren't really used to doing a lot of scissor work. It's easy to get lost in the sauce. One of your best friends when it comes to scissor work is water. So I'm really going to saturate this band of hair with water, and so I could really get a nice clean cut with my scissors today. So I'm going to be using my Hattori Hanzo swivel thumbs today quite a bit. Nice meaty scissor, very versatile, could really kind of get in there and get some really cool angles. And a lot of the times I just like to start in the back. Why I like to start in the back of haircuts is, number one, my client can't see. I know I'm not trying to keep anything from my client, but most importantly, I just want to be able to kind of start finding my length that I want to take off. And sometimes, like, I don't know why, but if I would all of a sudden would just like start where he could see it in the mirror and he sees a bunch of hair being taken off, he might get a little insecure or a little scared right off the bat. So it's kind of nice to kind of just initially start for myself. I could kind of visibly see exactly where I want this hair, and I'll be able to kind of bring it around as I kind of go. But if he's like instantly watching me take off a big chunk of hair right off the bat, especially if I haven't cut his hair, he's a new client of mine, he might get a little insecure and a little scared, or maybe like seller's remorse, where he's like, oh man, I wish we would have kept some of that length. So I'm just going to start in the back, and I'm really just kind of finding my length that I want to do to kind of bring in. You can see where he has color up top, and it kind of gets into his nice natural color. So sometimes that could kind of fool your eyes a little bit on your blend. So really we just need to make sure we're taking nice sections, clean sections, and most importantly, just trust your process and trust that we're taking the same amount of length off through everything. And most importantly, I'm kind of directing as I come to the left of his hair, I'm pushing to the right. As I come to the right of his hair, I'm pushing to the left. I want it to kind of meet in the middle back here, kind of create almost like a nice just dovetail, or I would call it a dovetail. It's kind of and just all this kind of coming through the middle of this cut. So right now, I'm just really just taking off this energy through here. So when I start my clipper work and my fade, I won't have so much hair to blend into. So his hair is really porous. So let's go ahead, add a little bit more water. And really, guys, I'm really only focusing on this segment of hair right through here at first. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling up. This hair right here at the very bottom, that's what we're going to usher our fade, our taper into. So really, I'm kind of keeping that length, and I'm going above it, okay? So I'm grabbing this hair, technically keeping the length at the very bottom of this cut, and I'm just hitting the long points of this cut. I'm going to kind of tilt his head up and over. And again, I'm pulling this back, directing back. And I'm directing this whole head back, and I'm really reducing a lot of this kind of heavy weight through his occipital bone. And that's going to really allow me to kind of put on a really nice fade, a taper fade. And more importantly, it's really going to, when I do kind of trim up that top, I won't need to really take as much hair off the top, because I'm just going to be able to blend it nicely into this length. And I'm really only taking maybe about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch off the sides here. So I think one thing I do is I kind of cross check as I go. So, if you notice, I'm kind of doing these up and down cutting technique right here, just kind of up and down. But here in a second, I will kind of use my comb and I'll kind of cross check. Just kind of see if there's any hairs that I missed, any things that are kind of sticking out. And this is a way I really kind of speed up my time by kind of in point cutting, directing this hair in the direction I want it to go. But most importantly, I'm really just kind of killing two birds with one stone. I'm taking length off, I'm blending, I'm bringing the two together all at the exact same time. So it's just going to easily kind of create more of a smooth finish as I kind of go back and forth from taking length off and then blending and creating, taking the bulk out at the same time. So as I come over here, I'm going to do the same thing. All I'm doing is I'm kind of keeping the length on the bottom, and I'm just hitting the tops of these corners where I believe is the kind of thickest part of this haircut. And I'm really just trying to dwindle this down. To me, what I've learned a lot is how hard it is to describe scissor work. Especially with the last the videos I've been doing. Like I said, it's so easy to talk about what you're doing with the clipper. There's numbers, there's links, there's measurements that come along with clippers and the guards, and you can kind of tell them, hey, okay, we're going to go up to here with a 3, then we're going to go to a 2 or a 4. But with scissor work, it's a little bit more artsy. There's a little bit more. I know I'm even doing it wrong by grabbing it like this. I know I should be kind of cutting with my palm, but like like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect hairstylist. I'm trying to learn just as much as you are. So I know what I'm teaching you, you have to take with a grain of salt because I'm not perfect in everything I do. Though I do think I come out with some nice looking haircuts. Though what I'm saying is like, try your hardest to be you behind the chair just as much as you want to listen to me and cut great hair. You have your own techniques, and that's the most beautiful part of this, especially when it comes to scissor work and hair. It's art. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no correct way. There's no wrong way in cutting. Yes, don't get me wrong. Like if I was all hunched over, bent over, my back was hurting, or I might be doing something that creates more carpal tunnel. Yeah, you might want to rethink how you're doing things. But in the end, I've been cutting hair for a long time, not the most perfect way either. And my body feels really great behind the chair every day. So, like I said, the hardest thing for me to do is really describe scissor cutting. And I think that's why a lot of new stylists and barbers have a difficult time with scissor work, is just because no one really knows how to talk about it. No one really knows, like, because for instance, some of this hair I've taken off an inch of hair. Some of it I've only taken off a half inch of hair. It really is just me looking at his hair and watching it dwindle down or reduce down to the shape and overall look that I want. That's why I think it's so important to kind of like cut some length off and then blend, cut some length off and blend, cut some length off and shatter cut or point cut or direct. There's so many different things I could use with this scissor that really is going to make this haircut look really great for my client. So again, if you notice, he wears his hair back. I'm pushing and cutting all this hair back, as well as kind of cross-checking, taking length or making sure it's blending back into some point cutting, really trying to reduce that weight through his occipital bone. Okay, I'm gonna blow him off. Let's add some more water on all aspects of this part of the haircut. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump on my 21 tooth Ettore Hanzos, and I'm going to slide cut with the haircut. So I'm going to comb and cut and slide at the exact same time, combing the hair in the direction I want it, slice cutting it with these Ettore Hanzos, these texture or these blending shears, and it's just going to be taking off some weight. Not really technically taking off length, because if you look at it, I'm going into the cut. I'm not keeping it flat where I might create lines. I'm working with this hair and cutting into the hair, and most importantly, I'm always directing in the direction I want it to go. So we're going to get here. Now I can kind of come straight down because this hair wants to grow straight down. Seems a little thicker right here in this corner. So I'm going to sit here. And of course it will be, we've ushered all this hair energy through this middle. So this little mohawk section will need a little bit more TLC and love. So let's go ahead and just be a little bit more aggressive. Again, pushing, combing that hair in the natural direction. And what am I going to do over here? Guess what? I'm starting to direct that hair, and I'm cutting right back into it. Just coming straight into that hair, taking off bulk, but not really taking off length. I like, if I take off too much length, it will start sticking out on him, maybe get a little poofy. Length equals weight when it comes to hair. Length doesn't always technically mean bulk or thickness. So as much as I need to keep some of this length, which is weight, so it kind of pins back when you put some product in it. But if I go too short, it's just going to want to stick out and fluff out, and that's not what we're really going for today. So, like I said, this to me was kind of his biggest problematic area of his haircut, was just this little area right here. The rest of it, this is all going to be detail work with our taper through here, and he really wants to keep a lot of that length on the top. So here in a second, well, I think a lot of I'm liking the shape of it. I'm liking the way it's looking. I'm liking the way it's falling on his head. This is no product. I haven't blown drying them yet. This is just water and scissor work, and it's really starting to look pretty, and just his color kind of blending into that dark bottom part of his hair looks really good. So I'm feeling pretty confident with what we're doing. And the best part about it, we could always go back if we did miss anything. So let's go ahead and blow Eli off. and we're gonna start our taper. I already have them pinned up here, so this will be like the last haircut part of the haircut I do. So I'm already liking how much prettier and smoother that is. So let's now really kind of start working on our taper. So again, I'm gonna just try to be slightly aggressive with you guys today and really try to make this haircut pop. Again, kind of the more aggressive you start your haircut with, the more energy, and I think it just pops way more when you really kind of attack this haircut and be confident in your cut. So I'm gonna work on one side at a time, and I'm really just a real quick preliminary kind of cleanup around his neckline and ear line. I just want to see the shape of his hair or his skull. So I want to get a lot of this kind of extra hair out of the way. Why not kind of clean up the ear a little bit? Clean up the C shape around the ear. I'm coming down. And really, I just want to kind of see his head shape right now. And then when he had all that hair and the hair around the neck and everything, it's kind of hard to see his real shape. So now that I have this shape, I'm gonna attack this. So let's go ahead, make my official line right there, okay? If you want to go ahead and just kind of line up this front a little bit, we can do that right now, just a little bit. Okay, so pretty aggressive line in my book, which is perfect. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my JRL clippers. I'm gonna start with a no guard open. I'm gonna move to a 1.5 guard closed. Then I'm gonna move to a 2 guard open. And I'm gonna move to probably a 3 guard open, 4 guard open, and I'll probably scissor work the rest. And then I'm gonna transcend all the way down from that 4 guard to 3 guard to a 2 guard to a 1.5 guard to a 1 guard to a half guard to a no guard, back to the original trimmer that I put that line in with, okay? So I know that seemed like a lot, but let me just kind of run through it. No guard open, and it's just a nice flick. Nothing too high, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. That's one thing I had to learn when it comes to tapering. That first initial taking off the bulk, it does not have to be perfect. So now I'm doing a 1.5 guard closed. Again, nice little flick out. Keeping the same direction kind of back. We want it to look like the hair is kind of moving. That's what I think a taper really does a good job. Almost like kind of like the fender of a car. Really, really beautiful sports cars just have really nice fenders kind of working around that wheel to keep it aerodynamic, make it look fast. And that's kind of what I think a taper does with the guy's haircut. So that was my 1.5 guard open or closed. Moving to a 2 guard all the way open. And again, just big flick outs. I'm not really coming around the ear too much. Maybe when I get to my 3 guard or my 4 guard, but I don't really like taking anything less than a 3 guard around this ear, especially when I'm doing a taper. So let's just be patient. Now I'm jumping on 3 guard, all the way open. Still combing that hair in the direction I want it to go. Okay, might just kind of bend that ear a little bit. He has some just nice, earrings, and like, you gotta, again, always be kind of present on where you are. Sometimes when you're in a busy shop and you have a bunch of clients and you're moving fast, very easy to accidentally grab those earrings. So that's one thing I'm gonna try my hardest today, is to be present, move methodically and smartly, and not try to rip his earrings out of his ear. So this is my 4 guard, all the way open. I feel confident enough to kind of start working that 4 guard behind the ear a little bit. And I'm gonna take it all the way down to his neckline, guys. I could hear a lot of hair being taken, so let's just be patient. And follow all the way back up, guys. Again, does not have to be perfect this preliminary round, this first round. We're just really trying to capture a shape, some energy. I can still hear some hair being taken, so let's just be patient for a second. And more importantly, you know, with gentlemen or ladies that have color in their hair, the trick is just to really trust the process. Trust that even though it might not always look the same length because there's different dimensions of color, but I know my foreguard is a foreguard. I know when I use my scissors, I'm taking off, you know, 1/4 of an inch. Like, you just have to trust that the hair is the length that you want. So I just jumped off my foreguard that was completely open. And remember, the last thing I used on these corners was my Tori Hanzo thinning shears. So I'm going to go through here real quick and just start blending out from that 4 open into that scissor work that we left off of. Okay, guys? So again, just being patient. Blend, blend, blend. Find those dark spots. Cross check. Pushing that hair in the direction I want it to go. Perfect. Just being patient. A lot of point cutting. Again, cross-checking, cross-checking. Okay, and one thing I like to do now is I'm actually gonna go back to my normal shear, and I like the texture, I like where we're at, but let's just see if there's any rogue hairs. So now I'm just evening up everything. The texture is gonna be nice and the same, but just see what now I'm using just a straight, you know, shear with a straight blade on it. Now I could just make sure everything is even. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Not really taking length off of it. I'm just trying to find little baby outliers. I could do a little point cutting if I want, but let's just keep. Again, we don't want to go too short up here. I'm trying to keep some energy for that long hair to have something to flow into, and I feel pretty confident so far. So let's go ahead and just keep working it out. Okay, so I feel pretty good here. So guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna blow them off. I'm gonna jump back on my foreguard, and this is where every little lever counts now, is that transition down this taper. So foreguard all the way open, just like I left it. Watching out for his earrings. Constantly going in that same direction. If you notice that my blade's really not going all willy-nilly, it's doing the same direction the whole time, kind of making it push back a little bit. So I could bend his ear out of the way. And remember, I don't like to go behind this ear less than a 3 guard. So if you notice here in a second, as I could do a 4, I could do a 3 back here, but once I get to my 2, my 1.5, I'm gonna start moving more towards the front of this cut, and I'm gonna keep it there. So now, one little click. Following my same pattern that I created. One little click. Big flick outs. You could hear some hair, so let's just be patient. A little tighter. All the way tight. Okay, dropping my 4 guard, moving to my 3 guard. Always like to make sure there. Opening it all the way up. I'm gonna tilt his head a little bit. And I'm gonna usher it right into that closed 4 guard. No higher is the goal. I don't wanna go any higher than I just was. I'm slowly tapering down, getting a little tighter and tighter and tighter. Okay, just knocked it down 1 notch. Okay, a little tighter. All the way tight now. Remember, I really don't like to go too much shorter around this ear than my 3 guard, so I'm probably not going to do much more around here. Okay. Dropping my 3 guard, moving to my 2 guard, opening it all the way up, tilting his head, and then I'm going to continue. But now I'm really not going to go behind his ear at all. Maybe just the corner of it, but I'm really going to keep that, like, it's a 2.5, so I can give myself a little wiggle room, kind of coming around just this base of this ear. But once I get down to my 2 guard all the ways, I'm not going to go any farther than that. So a little tighter. A little tighter. I can hear a little bit of hair, so let's just be patient. Not going around the ear. All the way tight now. Just being patient. Okay. Dropping my 2 guard. Moving to my 1.5, all the way open. Definitely not going any farther around the ear. Staying right on my sideburn, tapering this down. A little tighter. Pretty soon I'm about to only be using the toe or the heel of my trimmer or my clipper as well. I'm not trying to make any more lines or guidelines anymore. I'm really just trying to blend all this out. 1.5 all the way closed. Attacking from all angles. I can hear a little bit of hair, so let's just be patient. Again, I'm not going past that ear right now. Moving to my 1 guard, all the way open. Using the toe or the heel, I'm not really keeping it flat anymore. Have a nice control of my client. A little tighter. A little tighter. All the way tight. Being patient. Okay, 1 guard's done. Moving to my 1/2 guard, all the way open. Using the toe or the heel. Not going past the ear. And these are just rules. These are just rules. I mean, even when I'm cutting to my head, I literally am talking out loud in my head, like what I need to be doing and making these rules. And just because it's so easy to forget and to not do it and actually mess up or go all the way around the ear, you know, the goal is to have kind of a plan of action before we really even start. That's why it's so important to have a good conversation with your client, a good consultation, and more importantly, like, yeah, I don't have a mirror here, but you know, once I get done with this one segment, this one area, ask your client, hey, how does that look? What do you think about that? You know, and if he's like, oh, that looks awesome, then okay, Eli, guess what? We're gonna go mirror it on the other side. So let's just relax here for a second. I'm gonna go do exactly what I just did over here on the other side, and it's gonna be great. So it's just like, you know, make sure we're constantly checking in with our clients and making sure that, you know, they're liking what they're getting. Like, for instance, like I cut about 16 heads of hair a day, and that means I have 16 different bosses. They're paying my bill for 30 minutes or an hour, however long they are. You know, they're my boss. They're the ones paying me. So I better respect them and better try my hardest to make them happy, you know, because they're my boss. So it's like I have 16 different bosses that I have to listen to every day, you know, and I've always kind of looked at it like that. And it helps me to just respect my client and try my hardest to give a good service to them. So this is a no guard, completely open, just attacking that bottom line. One of the golden rules is whatever you put the line in with is what you're going to get the line out with. So I'm hoping once I get on my trimmer again, I'll really be able to buff all this out. Start ripping down some of his beard. All the way tight, I believe. Again, using that corner of my clipper. This is starting to look really, really good. I can hear some hair being taken, so let's just be patient. Perfect. Okay, whatever you put that line in with is what you're gonna get the line out with. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a quick little, just a little push, you know, just kind of start really kind of shaping up this front. Clean up that C cup a little bit. Clean up the cheek. I'm right here, why not? And I'm just gonna use the toe of this, and I'm just gonna, again, just tack that initial line that I put in there. Clean up around the ear. With the trimmer, I am gonna go all the way around and just keep lining this up. I'll probably go over this line up a couple more times before this haircut's over with. That's the kind of the beauty of a taper, is having some contrast, you know, really nice clean fade, and kind of ushers into this longer look in the back. Again, it's all about creating that shape, getting a nice cool shape that goes with his hair, goes with his face shape, goes with his lifestyle. You know, the haircut is so much more than just a haircut. It's confidence, it's happiness, it makes you feel good. So if we could really kind of lay on a beautiful cut that really goes with your client's lifestyle and face shape, they're gonna come back to you. Trimmer done. I'm gonna hit them just with a little bit of pre-shave, Johnny B. And I'm just gonna try to clean up this front just a little bit. I'm gonna grab my straight razor. It's a brand new razor. I just put it on before I came over here. I'm gonna pinch, pull. And again, with these, when you're keeping a lot of length, you know, and you have these kind of detailed areas of a taper, that's the money, is the fact that you have all this kind of long hair, all this length, all this energy, but all of a sudden you look at some of the aspects of this haircut, and it's just it's lined up, it's crispy, it's clean, and I just feel like that's the ticket, like, of these haircuts, is having it. When he leaves this place, it's gonna feel super clean around here, around his eyes, his face, around his ear. But when he runs his hands through his hair, he has all that energy still left. And I just feel like that is the magic, is really being able to kind of give your client both worlds, this energy, or this feeling of a super clean cut, but also when he runs his hands through it, it's nice and long and flowy and has all that energy that you left for him. So I'm just going to take this a little cleaner through here. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of line up this little back line. It's pretty soft hair back here, so let's just be very careful, Reeve. And then my last but not least, I'm going to jump on my full shaver. I'm just going to kind of clean up just this little area right here, behind the ear, right where I did a little bit of that straight razor work, cheekbone, eyebrows, I think that's looking awesome. So guess what? We get to redo it all. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, the first one's the hardest, because it's maybe your first time cutting the client. You're trying to find a shape. You're trying to find some energy. Trying to figure out what to do. Well, guess what? I did it already, right? So my biggest objective now is I need to do it on the other side, and I need to remember the steps that it took me to get there. Okay, so I am going to just add a little bit of water to that thicker part of his hair. I could already tell I want to kind of dwindle it down a little bit more. It's a little thick over here still. Just as it dried up, it kind of showed itself to me. So let's go ahead and continue dwindling this down. And then I'll be able to usher into my clipper work. Okay, that feels more manageable. Again, if I had a bunch of hair to try to fade up into, it's gonna make it hard, guys. So this is just kind of making my life a lot easier by taking and dwindling this, or reducing the hair down first. Okay, so if you remember correctly, trimmer, and what I did first, so I just did a quick lineup of Eli. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tilt your head a little bit, Eli. Thank you, sir. Just a quick little lineup. I'm gonna start right here. Keep it now. I'm not really messing with anything too much yet. Just natural, natural, natural. He has a lot of little neck hair right here, so I'm gonna clean that up right now. Again, the cleaner I can get my client, when I can start seeing his head shape, way his hair really flows, kind of getting all this negative hair that really doesn't, I mean, it belongs there. I mean, we're human, but it just doesn't belong in this haircut. So the quicker I could get this hair that doesn't belong in the haircut out of the way, the more opportunity I'm going to have to really put on a beautiful haircut. So again, just kind of cleaning up around the ear. Just again, a preliminary kind of cleanup. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of clean up this little bar right here. Just a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna push. Kind of start this, create a little C shape for now. And what I do now, for me to kind of measure out where that initial line is, I'm gonna have Eli look straight at me. Thank you. And I'm just gonna capture the tightest part of his taper. Right there. So it's good, so you guys could see this. I'm kind of clean up around here just a little bit more. Create my little C shape just a little bit more aggressively here. Okay. No guard open, 1.5 guard closed, 2 guard open, 3 guard open, 4 guard open, scissor work, 4 guard open all the way to close, 3 guard open all the way to close, 2 guard open all the way to close, 1.5 guard open all the way to close, 1 guard all the way open all the way to close, half guard open all the way to closed, no guard open all the way to closed, trimmer work. So follow me here. I'm gonna go, not gonna go quick, but I am gonna go just a little quicker than that other side, okay? One and a half all the way closed. Two guard all the way open. Three guard all the way open. Now I can kind of start tweaking around the ear just a little bit. Huge flick out. Four guard all the way open. Same direction. I can do your hair being taken, so let's just be patient. Okay, remember a little bit of water, let's blow them off. Close your eyes, Eli. Add some water, about to do some scissor work. Last thing I used was my Hattori Hanzo 21 tooths. And I'm just going to kind of blend into that four guard that I just used. Point cutting in the direction I want it to go. So far, this is looking really good. Next thing I'm going to do is jump on my swivels, and I'm just going to make sure everything's even now. Not really taking length off, not really trying to add any more texture. Just looking for any hairs that are just kind of a little more wispy, a little longer than the rest. I thought that was on silent, so I apologize, guys. So that was a 4-guard. Now I'm ushering back into my clipper work. 4-guard all the way open. Taking it right into that last bit of that scissor work. A little bit more closed. And I'm going to run it back. Get it tighter and tighter and tighter. All the way tight. 3-guard now. All the way opened. I could hear hair being taken, so let's just be patient for a little bit. A little tighter, a little lower. All the way tight. 3-guard, I could go around the ear just a little bit, keeping it low. Okay. 2-guard all the way open. Like I said, I could just go around the ear just a little bit when it's open. When it's closed, I'm not going around that ear at all, okay guys? It's kind of the trick in my book. So as I close it, I'm not going to go around the ear anymore. I'm going to stay in front of the ear for my taper work. All the way tight. I could hear some hair being taken, so let's be patient. 1.5 guard, all the way open. Not going around the ear. Pretty soon I'm going to really kind of just start using my toe and my heel of my guard and my clipper. Hear a little bit of hair being taken, so let's be patient. Okay. 1 guard now, all the way open. Not going around the ear. Slowly closing it, kind of using the toe and the heel to blend this out. Back and forth, all the way closed. 1.5, or a 1/2 guard, I mean, all the way open. Lower and lower and lower. Slowly closing it. Only using the toe and the heel of my clipper. All the way closed. Open guard. Just the toe and the heel. Lower and lower, looking for any dark spots. I could hear some hair, so let's just be patient. A little tighter. All the way tight. Taking down some of that beard. Whatever you put that initial line in with is what you're going to get the line out with. Torii Hanzo trimmers. Let's go ahead and clean up the cheekbones. Clean up the ear. Again, just using the toe or the heel. Keep lining it up, Make it, line up is one of the most important part of this. Is keeping everything super clean throughout the bottom of this cut. So we can keep all that length on top and it just looks really cool together. Okay, let's go ahead and push. Let's go ahead and push. Clean up the C cup real quick as much as we can. Not trying to force it too much. Nice positive control. Okay, now I'm going to get on my, hit them with a little bit of pre-shave. Get back on my straight razor. I'm gonna pinch. Clean up my C shape. Come around this ear. Want him to feel super clean, but still have a lot of good energy on the top. Okay, I'm actually going to be patient. I'm going to jump on my tightest trimmer real quick and just get this a little tighter before I even jump on my razor real quick. I'm right-handed, so being on the left side of his face, a little bit more difficulty, I would say, kind of holding the razor appropriately. So I just want to make sure I have a lot of this already taken out before I jump on it. I'm just going to clean this up. Pinching that hair, creating it nice and taut. Allowing that nice razor to do the work. Being patient. I don't like really talking too much when I have the straight razor, just because one little movement and we could kind of not have a good day. Okay, last thing I did was I jumped on my foil shaver. Clean up this back section real quick. Clean up the C shape. Blend it into that beard. I'm gonna look at him straight on. Look straight at me. I'm gonna do just a little touch up real quick here. No guard open. Closing it a little bit, tacking that line. Okay, beautiful. So now we get to work on the back. So if you remember, I kind of brought that 4 and that 3 already kind of down, okay? So that's what I'm gonna do differently. I'm not gonna like start low and work my way high. I want this a little longer back here in the back. All that energy is coming back here. So I just kind of feel like that would look cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and blow him off. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. I'm gonna just do a quick little lineup real quick. Nothing crazy here. We're gonna line it all up here in a second. But again, I like seeing the shape. I like seeing where his neck fits on his haircut, where the haircut's going, get all this little baby hairs and loose hairs that, you know, really aren't a part of my haircut out of the way so they're not distracting me. And it's just, I just like, I like clean things, man. I just like having it clean. And the quicker I could clean it up, I feel my heart feels better. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of clean that up. If you want to even go a little further, why not? Just kind of get on your full shaver. Clean up this bottom line. Okay, so remember I took a 4 back here. So let's start with a 5 guard and we're gonna work our way all the way down. Let's even go a little crazier. We're gonna start with a 6 guard. I'm gonna have these guards closed the whole time, I believe. So I'm gonna start with a 6 guard closed and I'm gonna marry it into my 4 guard that I had over here. Same situation, kind of come up into this corner where that 4 guard was. Where that 4 guard was. Combing that hair in the direction I want it to go. Okay. 5 guard, I'm keeping it closed. Pushing that hair, cutting that hair in the direction I want it to go. Ushering right into that 6 guard I just had. And touching into that 4.5 guard. Move down just a little bit, thank you. Okay. 4 guard. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to open it up and I'm going to work all the way down the little click. So 4 guard all the way open. Remember that was the last guard I did on my taper on the sides. Was a 4 guard all the way open. Touching into the back. A little tighter, a little lower. And now I'm going to, every little click I do, a little lower. All the way tight. Again, combing that hair in the direction I want it to go. I could hear hair being taken, so let's just be patient. Again, my brain, it just wants to move on. Let's move to the next thing. And it's so important for you just to calm, take some breaths, not move too fast, and really allow your tool to really do the work for you. I have it all the way open. Now I'm ushering right into that 4 guard closed. I have my client's neck tilted down. Just being patient. A little tighter. I really enjoy my Johnny, or my, what are these? Are these Johnny? Yeah, these are Johnny B combs. I've always been a fan of them. They work well with Caucasian hair. They work well with dark black hair. Don't get me wrong, a white comb on dark hair is nice, and a black comb on white hair is nice. Or a white comb on dark hair, or a black comb on light hair. You kind of could see what you're doing a little bit, but the blue is kind of nice because it kind of gives you, you're able to work, it works well with both dark hair and light hair. So you'll always notice I always have the blue combs, and those are Johnny B's. You could order them from their website. I'm not sure if they're on Amazon or not. So, okay. Keep going down the line, guys. Don't give up now. So 2.5 guard all the way open. Lower and lower. Nice flick out. I think this is starting to look really, really good already. You got to gas yourself up a little bit mid-haircut. Just talk to yourself. Good job, Reeve. Way to go. You're just looking great. Like, don't be afraid to gas yourself up in your head. Like, it's important to be confident in yourself, to like what you're doing. It's a rough, tough world out there. A lot of mean things are happening all around. Don't allow those things to creep into your head when you're cutting hair. We really want to have a positive light when we're cutting or doing anything, and not really thinking of anything negative, especially when we have a client in our chair. We really want to be a good neutral for our people. We want them to be able to relax, have good conversation, and most importantly, like my goal is I want my client to want to be me. Like, even though I'm not perfect, I have a million flaws. I know I do, but I want my people to see me smiling. I want my clients see me eager to get home to my wife and my home. I want my clients seeing me being successful, having a car and some money to spend, and I would just want to be a good light to my people. So I encourage you all too, if you're behind the chair, don't bring your worldly problems to the shop. Like, really try to leave those out the door, so that everyone around you could have a good day while they're at work. And it's a blessing when everyone's on board and realize, like, hey, we're at work, let's make this as best as we can, let's get our money in our bag, make our people happy, and go home. Like, what you do at home, I don't care. But what you do behind the chair, I do kind of care, because you're not just affecting your mood, you're affecting your client's mood, you're affecting your people around you's mood, and it's just more of a beautiful thing when you have a whole shop, just putting their worldly things at the door when they walk in, and just realizing, hey, it's time to act up, not worry about it. And you know what's crazy? By the end of the day, you have that mentality. Whatever was bringing you down when you walked in, I'm not going to lie, it was probably going to resolve itself naturally, or it wasn't that big of a deal that you thought it was. So this is my one guard, all the way open. Just watching the haircut. Watching which way his hair grows. Getting tighter and tighter and tighter. All the way tight. I could hear some hair being taken, so let's just be patient. Okay, half guard time. All the way open. I'm gonna start kind of moving his neck around a little bit more. A little tighter. Really using the toe and the heel of my clipper. Okay, no guard now. All the way open. Really monstrous little flick out at the bottom. Not trying to make any more lines anymore. Just want it to be a nice buttery blend. Attacking it in the way the hair wants to grow. Using just the toe now, or the heel. All the way tight. Nice soft touch. I'm gonna open all the way up. Kind of a little tiger paw action. The very bottom of this. I'm gonna slowly tighten it up. Tight, tight, tight. All the way tight. Okay, let's blow them off. I'm gonna jump on my trimmers. I'm gonna really kind of dial in this neck real quick. Again, I'm gonna just kind of line it up. Again, the cleaner the line on this haircut, the more it's gonna pop, the more kind of wild, fun length we could keep on top, because we have this nice, beautiful edge at the bottom of Eli's haircut. Back and forth, back and forth. Looking really good. Same thing over here. Clean lines equal clean haircuts. Get that as clean as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of barely line up this real quick. Being patient. Okay. Hit him with just my little feather razor. Nice soft touch. Again, this is a new blade as well. I put it in before I left my shop. Let's go ahead and open him up. I'm gonna grab my blow dryer. I'm gonna blow kind of up and away from his head. I like to try to make sure there's no blemishes or moles or anything below the neckline, but make sure we go pretty deep into the hairline back here. Foil shaver. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and put another neck strip on him. Again, I like to just like keep them flat, 2 fingers like this. I just go keep it nice and flat, more surface area. Once I come here, I keep it flat. I don't want to choke on my fold over, and then I just kind of flip that back end up, and that really allows me some nice surface area to get my cape back on my client. And more importantly, if we tuck it now, we just kind of tuck it in like this. That's really going to allow not too much hair to get below my client. So awesome. So I'm feeling really good now. Okay. Knocked out the hardest part of the haircut with just this poof, which we got him out of. Gave him a really cool detailed area of the haircut with our taper. And now we're gonna really work on the top. But the thing is, remember, he wants to keep a lot of the energy on top. So this is probably gonna be the fastest part of the haircut, is the last part of the haircut, because it's the area where he really doesn't want much touched. So let's go ahead and drop these pins. I'm gonna get him, go back to my replenish leave-in conditioner. Kind of just give it a nice little base. Anytime we're working a lot of scissor work, water. And then I'm gonna comb this out real quick. And you guys have been watching me enough. You know what I like to do. I like to mark off those bangs. Those bangs are the last part of this haircut. Let me kind of show you what we're working with now. Just how that hair kind of falls over like that. But we really want to keep some of the bangs. So I'm gonna mark off the bangs last. Best way to find anybody's bangs on where they sit is you get them wet. You put whatever comb you have on top of their head. And then wherever that angle is, wherever that comb kind of creates a nice little angle on his hair, those are his bangs. So I always put my finger down. What I like to do is I just draw a line straight across. There we go. So to me, everything behind this is the haircut. Everything in the front is the bangs. We'll go ahead and just twist these up, nothing too crazy. And let's just pin these out of the way. Okay. So now this is like the meat and potatoes at the top of his hair. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water. And just like I started at the very beginning of this haircut when I was kind of taking down this middle section, we'll start in the back again, okay guys? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna comb this hair in just its natural shape. Again, I don't like to fight the hair too much. I really wanna work with the hair. So I'm gonna bend them down and I'm gonna start grabbing some of this hair, and let's see. It looks pretty good, but let's just go ahead and we're just gonna grab that middle section. And again, I'm just going after the points, the triangles, or whatever you wanna call it. This is all good hair. All of a sudden, It's getting a little thick. All good hair, triangle. Just a little bit. I'm only taking maybe less than a ½ inch right now, which is, again, I feel confident with that. You know what I mean? That's about, when someone says I don't want much off, I think a ½ inch is probably what they're talking about, or less. Let's go ahead and go to this other side. Again, I'm kind of directing in the direction I want this hair to go. I want it to kind of come to the back. Just picking off the heavy corners. Heavy corners. Let's go ahead and just point cut. It's already looking way better. Point cut. Let's go ahead and bring some of this back. Just, again, always just finding the corners when I'm kind of blending this short hair into the long hair. Why not kind of start coming up here, kind of seeing where we're at. And it's amazing. The longer I've cut hair, it really is crazy how you, like, I'm not really taking much off, which is, you're right, you're not, but damn, does it not make a difference? Like, it just blows my mind how just the littlest of snips, the littlest bit of cleanup make it all look so much prettier and healthier and has a classic flow to it. Again, let's go ahead and point cut a little bit. Blend, blend, blend. If you notice, I'm this whole time directing the hair where I want it to go. I am in control. You know, I'm the one who's in control of this cut. I'm the one showing confidence. I'm the one doing it. So I need to kind of make this hair listen to you, you know, and make it work for you and your client. We don't want our client having to go home and, you know, wakes up, he's running late, has to take his dog out, you know, has to get coffee in the morning, has to, you know, love on his fiance for a little bit. Like, there's a lot of stuff we have to do in the morning. One thing I don't want my clients having to do is fight their hair. So if we could give them a haircut that works with their lifestyle, with their face shape, with what they want, it makes it easy for them in the morning to get out into the real world. You know, those are all aspects of reasons why they're going to come back to you and want you to cut their hair, is because you really cared so much about them that you're actually giving them more time through a busy day to do what they want to do, and more important things than worry about their hair. You know, let me worry about your hair. You know, that's my job, you know. So if we could kind of create a look that really just goes with the guy's face or the girl's lifestyle or job or whatever, time commitment, you know, you're really doing a favor to your people. And I think the more favors we can do in this world, the better shot that we're going to have a good life ourselves, because people are going to want to treat you with respect as well, because you're putting it out there every day at your job. So let's go ahead and just kind of keep lifting up. Again, just barely trimming the top. It's looking so good. All the way to the top. Isn't that looking awesome? Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to drop these. I'm going to jump on my Torii Hanzo 21 tooth one more time, and I'm just going to kind of hit these corners again, just really easily. Nothing crazy. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Just a little heavy in this one little corner right here, so let's lighten it up just a little bit. So far, I really think I've been able to listen to Eli, give him what we talked about. I'm feeling good. I'm coming to the end of the service, the end of the video. My anxiety gets to go down. I get to kind of calm down, really get to enjoy my work, start looking at it at a not so intense light, because now I can kind of see the big picture, and it just feels really good. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to take just small sections, maybe 3 sections all together. Take one initial bang section. I could go ahead and I don't even have to clip that up. I'm just going to keep it down. Come straight up. His bangs are not that bad a shape. Make sure we're all even up here. Okay, let's take a little bit more bang. These things are in good shape. Not too much hair. Okay, my last bit of bang. Okay, let's get to styling our client out because I'm really liking what I'm seeing. So let's get my blow dryer, and I'm just gonna start. Remember, the wind is your brush. Wherever you're blowing the hair is technically where you're brushing the hair. So I want the sides to kind of come back a little bit, so I'm pushing it back on both sides. I love closing my eyes for some reason during the blowout section. I have confidence that I know where the haircut is, what it's doing. And more importantly, I feel like if I could blow dry his hair and kind of style his hair out with my eyes closed, I hope he could style his haircut with his eyes open. So, and it's just a time for me to kind of calm down. I get my heart rate down. I get to relax for a little bit. I've been straining my eyes for like 45 minutes. I'm trying to get a perfect haircut. Just give your eyes a little bit of a break. And I know some people might find it weird. It's not the whole time, but I just like to just kind of vibe out for a second, be thankful, and get ready for my next client, really is what the main objective. So let's really get majority of this moisture out of Eli's hair today. You know what, guys, a good haircut is great, but if you're not styling it properly, if you're not taking the time to get all the moisture out, really present this haircut in its true fashion, you're doing yourself some injustice. You just spent 30 minutes, an hour on trying to cut a great haircut, and all of a sudden you just let them leave with water in their hair, let them leave with no product, with hair on their face still. Like, that's not what we're here for. We're here to really do a full service. So let's go ahead and get all this moisture out of Eli's hair. The last little bit, when you're about 75, 80% dry, I encourage you to use the cool setting for the last 10, 15%. It's really going to kind of lock that hair into shape, makes it really smooth, makes it really shiny. But most importantly, I think it really just locks it into shape. So this last little bit right here, I'm not using the heat right now, I'm using a cold setting. We'll go ahead and take the cape off real quick, kind of finish this out. Almost did the classic move, putting a brush in your armpit. Don't ever do that. Okay, guys, got majority of the moisture out. When I was leaving the shop, I thought that the Hans de Fuco Sheen Cream would be a great product for Eli. He has pretty color in his hair, so it's a light hold. He'll be able to run his hands through it. So this is a really cool product from Hans de Fuco. They're based out of California. We've been partners with these guys for 12 years, and they're great. So I'm right-handed. I'm gonna grab some product. He has quite a bit of hair, so I might need to use a little bit extra. I'm right-handed, so I dip it out with my right index finger. I put it instantly into the palm of my hand. I get all that product off my right index finger, so all the product's in my palm of my hand now. Now I put my palms together, but I keep my fingers really spread out. I'm gonna go in a little circular motion, okay? Kind of warm, emulsify this product. So now all of a sudden it looks like just product on my palms. Now I'm gonna close my hands completely, my fingers. I'm gonna go back, do like a little fire starter motion or praying mantis motion. And now all of a sudden I have no clumps of product. I have it completely throughout the tips of my fingers. And most importantly, wherever the main area of the haircut, I don't even know what the word is, the most problematic area of the haircut is where we need the most product. So remember, we kind of conquered the sides first. So my first initial swipes of product are gonna be on the sides of Eli's hair. I'm gonna drip it back in the back. His front and top of the hair, the area where we use the least amount of energy and cut, doesn't need that much product. You know, it lays well already, has a good shape already. It's the back and the sides that really we're kind of getting under Eli's skin. So that's where I need to put majority of my product. My little sister made me a comb, which is pretty cool. She used some resin and got a little design. So it's just a nice wide tooth comb. And I'm just gonna run this product a little deeper into his hair. Breaking it up a little bit. I don't really want some like really uniform shape. He wears his hair fairly natural, a little whimsical. Once I do that, I'm gonna just kind of go ahead, run my hands through it. I'm gonna do a little walk around of him. Guys and girls, thank you so much for watching The Art of Reduction. I hope you learned something today that you could apply behind the chair. I want to thank Malone Media and Trailroy Studios for the studio time. I need to thank my model Eli for the beautiful haircut. And this is how I would do a nice taper fade on some long length and really make my client feel extra good. Can't thank you enough for watching The Art of Reduction. Please subscribe and watch more and keep your eye out for more content. I can't thank you enough. I'm gonna get you a hot towel real quick, Eli. And if there's any questions or haircuts that you would like for us to do or see, please let us know and comment in the section below. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful night and enjoy the eclipse. Bye, guys.